Hi, Salty Tadpoles. I'm actually not on this week's episode, but we wanted you to take 5 minutes to play our game. You will hear a bounty of chocolate puns, so if you can whip us a comment on our social media posts with your guesses, the winner will receive a chocolate bar of their choice to chomp on. Right, I think that's enough from me right now, but I'll hand over to the lads for a lion roaring and side-splitting time. Enjoy!
Welcome to this week's Talking Codswallop. I am James Jr.
I guess that makes me James Sr.
It does indeed. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I have put another trap down the back of the fridge and caught him again.
It's a very nice trap with lots of sugary sweet treats that gets me. It's also the fact that if I'm the senior one, maybe I'm losing my faculties, and hence why I'm not always here. You know, it takes me a wee bit of time to find my way back to the podcast.
Yeah, we may end up going from senior to granddad.
That'd be on a good day.
I did put Werther's Originals in the trap and it worked. So,
Good old. You know, I haven't had a Werther's Original for a very long time.
Well, treat yourself. I recently went and grabbed a bag of mint humbugs for the first time in ages, and I'm over the moon because I forgot how nice they are.
I can't disagree with you. Mint humbugs is always something my grandmother always had in a car.
I always loved them because if you suck on them until, basically for ages, they become soft in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the flavour completely. And again, it'd been so long since I've had one. When I first had one, I was like, oh, I remember why I love these things. They are delicious.
Well, when you gave me the flashback moment there to them in my grandmother's car, I'm thinking, how did she not have, because they were never like this weird melted lump like you'd expect in a warm car. So she must have constantly had them moving from the car to the house.
Oh, no. These things were just indestructible.
Maybe that's it then.
It's like mint Imperials.
Mint Imperials. I can't visualize them. They're like the Uncle Joe's mint ball things.
Yeah. They, it's them and cockroaches, the two things that'll survive a nuclear holocaust.
See, I'd just like to say for you, Gemma, you complain about car corner, but we're now getting on sweets corner.
It goes car corner or confectionery corner.
I like it. Or both. Well, technically, we kind of do. I managed to create a combination of both with a flashback to my grandmother having them in the car.
Cars and confection.
Oh,
Get in.
See, but I try not eat in the car, though, to be honest. So
I am the same. I am the same, especially when I'm not in my own car and borrowing someone else's. That's a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Don't eat in their car. Definitely don't smoke in their car.
Yeah. It always throws me when my friend, I always kind of forget about having things in your car and I don't have kids, but my friend's always he's like, your car's very tidy. And I said, really? I said, I think it needs vacuuming. And he said, no, my car's full of sweets. And
I don't know how people do that. I've got kids and it would literally be I used to take the car seat out of the car every trip. It would sit in the hallway. I'm such a clean freak when it comes to the car. I don't like anything on the dashboard.
Same
so,
here.
parking tickets or anything like that, they get taken off immediately as soon as I leave. I don't like things in the cup holders because if there's things in the cup holders, I can't put my bottles in the cup holder.
Correct.
So here's our first Codswallop tadpoles. We're complaining about car cleanliness.
And I will add to that because I desperately want to get my car washed. And I plan to have it done towards the end of this week, and it's now started raining. So that ain't happening.
Do you know what? I may retitle the episode because we may end up calling it Cars, Confectionery and Cleanliness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because I was the same. I desperately wanted to wash my car because, unfortunately, my personal car has had to go in for a brand new clutch, which was £500 of money I really didn't have, but I've managed to sort it out. Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, I was borrowing my father-in-law's car, and my mother-in-law was asking me, do you mind giving it a bit of a run? Because obviously, ever since he passed, she doesn't like driving it. So I said, sure. And she asked me to get it washed. And because it sits for so long, it gets that light moss build up in the rubbers on the windows.
Oh, yeah.
The really annoying stuff. So I thought, yeah, no problem. I grabbed my pressure washer. Wouldn't turn on. Fuse is fine. The electrics are fine. Couldn't work it out. So I went and got my backup pressure washer, which is from my granddad.
Mhm.
When we cleared his house out, I took his pressure washer.
Good thinking.
Managed to set that one on fire.
What? Okay, that's different. How on earth did you manage that?
With a water source, and it's still set on fire. I genuinely have no idea, because again, the hose was connected. It should have been soaked in water, but apparently I got the electrics wet and boom.
Well, these things happen. I mean, I am going to try and on cars. I'm going to try and vacuum mine on like Saturday when it's supposedly going to be dry. Because I mean, it's not bad, but I'd just like to give it the once over.
Yeah. You want to do something before it gets worse.
Yeah. I mean, I always see it as messy when there's like a bit of visible dust, and everyone else tells me it's fine. But as I've been told, it's an OCD thing with me. So you managed to get it to burst into flames.
Yes,
I'm impressed.
But thankfully, I had the hose, so it was just disconnect and dump it on top, and it was fine. I put it out and threw it straight in the skip.
Good thinking.
I was like, well, I'm more disappointed that I've lost my spare than the slight arson that's just happened.
And have you got your clutch sorted now?
Yes.
Good man.
And I tested it the best way possible.
And how was that?
Did a burnout. No, I did. I did dump the clutch with about 3,000 RPM, and it skipped. It spun the wheels nicely. But yeah, it feels so much better. But there's a bit of a weirdness to it in that when I spoke to my mechanic after he replaced it, he actually showed me the old clutch, and he gave it to me to scrap off, and. The old clutch, there's still meat on the actual clutch plate. He said the problem was the pressure plate had gone. So the pressure plate was basically locked into just push it on, no matter what, just try and keep it, and it just stuck. So I now have this weird thing of the clutch pedal is now incredibly light. So when I first went to get in the car and drive it, I immediately turned around to him and said, well, this isn't fixed. And he was like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, look at this. And I was just like, it literally takes no effort now to put the clutch down.
I can understand this, because when many moons ago they did the clutch plate on my car, it was like the strangest thing when you got it back, because you become used to it a certain way. So is that your Codswallop?
Oh, no.
Okay,
no.
I mean,
I have.
But the car is now safe and usable, and you're happy. And
yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
So I am back and mobile in my own vehicle, which is nice. But yes, I do have my own Codswallop, but since you are the guest, I'll let you go first.
Well, my Codswallop does actually link to, we'll run with two as a treat for the tadpoles. So,
aren't you generous?
As ever, chest infection sprung up again. So
God.
I think I get about 4 or 5 of them a year. So that happened. I mean, that is what it is. They pump me full of antibiotics, and hopefully, touch wood, it's gone. So that was a bit of a pain, kicking in after I'd done some work. But my Codswallop, which is not, well, it's like a double Codswallop in one. So
the best kind.
And it ties into Car Corner.
Yay, Gemma's going to love it.
Oh, yes. Especially for you, this one, Gem.
Go on.
So I'm driving to the TV show I was working on. Driving along, no problem. Early hours, give myself plenty of time. On the motorway, just as I'm getting onto it, warning light comes on for tyre pressure.
Okay.
So that's not too bad. So I'm thinking, all right, that's just a warning. So I put the windows down, gave it a bit of driving along, put the windows down. Couldn't hear any thumper noises. So I thought, I'm okay. So I thought, I'll have plenty of time. I get to the studio. I think I had like half an hour's time at the studio. So I thought I'll park up, find out where where I'm going into, and I'll pump the tires up. No problem.
Yeah. Give the car a once over, because again, with the pressure warning, it could just be that the battery's gone in the sensor.
Yeah.
This is the frustration with warning lights. It's all well and good them coming on, but it's the range of problems that you could have. As I say, it could be your tires are perfectly fine, we just can't monitor the pressure. To oh my god, where's all the air gone?
Yeah. So I'm there at in the studio car park. I've worked out where I've got to go, which section. So I'm happy with that. Get the whole thing out, won't work. Tire pressure thing will not work. So I'm like, well, anyway. So I did the day's work. So I'm just have to drive back because I've not got easy access to anything. They seem to still be reasonably, solid. So I'm all right. So I get back to the house, and I didn't do it that day because it was too. We finished a bit earlier, but it was still quite late when I finally got back. Because I had other stuff to do, and I went to try and pump it up, and I'm like, yeah, no joy. But I worked out what the problem was. The little part that goes into your cigarette lighter had come loose. So I thought, okay, we'll work on this one. Bit of electric tape, not a problem. As I'm putting it together, the entire thing came apart. You ain't going to be able to fix that when the entire wire thing comes out. I thought, well, you might, but I can't. So I thought, you know what? New purchase required.
So, yeah, someone more competent may be able to fix this, but not me.
No, not a chance. So I bought one of those strange ones that are, you just charge up, so you're not like wrenching the wires around. Got that, charged it up, did the tires. Yeah, they'd all gone down a bit, so that answers the question. Because it'd been that long. Normally, I always pump my tires up before a long journey because, it makes sense, or check them. And I've not done this for months and months and months.
As you should, tadpoles, as stated by the Highway Code and the Department for Vehicle and, DBLA. Sorry, just wanted to get the safety talk.
Hey, no. It's my own kind of thing on that. Obviously, I don't think I've done it since like Christmas because weather, etc., etc. But yeah, so yeah, those are my that was my probably a treble tadpole moment when you really look at it. I'd initially forgotten the entire thing broke. You're just like, ugh.
Then you managed to break your own cigarette lighter.
Well, that's the kind of. In fact, that reminds me. I need to replace the fuse. I'm gonna have my father's coming to see me this weekend. It's his birthday. I have to get a new fuse to put in for his cigarette lighter in his car. So I put on a list of things to buy.
Well, happy birthday to Daddy Stafford.
I will pass that on. Thank you. But yeah, once I don't destroy his car trying to replace a simple fuse, all will be well.
Oh God, I can imagine next week's Codswallop. So I burnt down my dad's car.
I would hope not, but yes, I'll have to get.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
And so you made it safely back from redacted.
Yes, I made it to and from redacted safely, which ties into the reason that I'm also sort of glad I'm not washing my car because I've got filming next week at some rather obscure location, and I was like, is it going to be worth washing it? Probably not. But that's about it. That's about it on my Codswallop. So I thought, touch wood.
That's the Codswallop you're legally allowed to tell us.
Yes, that is the Codswallop I'm legally allowed to tell you.
Well, I guess that leaves me with my Codswallop then, which is related to the title, which is Artificial Stupidity. So recently, I've been watching a lot more of my long-form content that I'd like to watch on YouTube on television. So I stream it to my living room TV. Obviously, the downside to this is I don't have ad blocker. So normally I can create a playlist of like 14 documentaries, and while I'm working on my computer, just have them playing in the background. Mm-hmm. So now, obviously, every 3 to 5 minutes, I'm getting interrupted by these adverts now on YouTube, and YouTube has gotten wise now to. I've had situations where the adverts are just short enough to avoid the skip button.
Ah, yeah.
But then I've also had one where I thought I was hitting the skip button, when in fact I was hitting the next button, and I got 5 adverts in a row.
They do drive me insane, truly insane. They're so annoying.
The thing that always bothers me is it's the fact that they, especially when you're watching like a long form content, the AI that YouTube uses doesn't seem to be able to pick out breaks in conversation, so they will just cut someone off mid-sentence and then immediately rejoin. It's very much like you're reading a book and then there's a pop-up section that hits you in the face and then immediately goes away. And you're like, no, I'm going to have to go back and reread this. So you have to skip back slightly. But believe it or not, that is not the artificial stupidity that I wish to talk about. Oh, no,
I'm
no,
intrigued. I'm intrigued.
I saw an advert. I know, shocking. But this advert was advertising a toy dog. They were clearly using real-life footage of an animal.
I think I've seen this. Yeah, go on.
But it had a weird uncanny valley feel to the footage.
Mm-hmm.
And then the voiceover started. Using the most up-to-date AI, we have created the most lifelike toy dog you will ever see.
I have seen this.
Yeah, the Cocker Spaniel, or it's a Cocker Spaniel or King Charles Spaniel, and and then you follow. I instantly got intrigued. I was like, oh, I have to see this, because I've noticed this lately. A lot of apps are beginning to use, like these gaming apps where they're like, we created a fantasy world, and a lot of them are using AI generated art now, and so a lot of AI is also creeping into the actual adverts. Boss, I'm your secretary and I got caught out in the rain.
God, yes.
That
one,
it's creepy as sin, isn't it?
Well, it's weird. I don't like. Yeah, it is creepy, because I'm like, why is it giving me this advert? It has no link to anything else.
Yep. Why is it giving me this advert? I would expect that kind of advert where it's like, talk to your AI girlfriend. Yeah, I expect that on more, shall we say, adult sites.
Yeah.
If you're going to give me an advert.
Yeah.
And it's the uncanny valley. I remember watching one where this girl was picking up a glass of wine and her hand phased through the stem because the AI couldn't decide as to whether she was holding it by the stem or cupping the bottom of the glass with the stem going through her fingers. And it was almost like you could see the AI having a kind of existential crisis over, I can't decide which one, so I'll make her do both. That'll be fine. But yeah, the Cocker Spaniel one just sent me over the edge, because I was like, I know that if you ordered it, you would get the little yappy robot dog that walks forward a couple of times, yaps, and then walks forward again. That's what you're going to get.
Or you're going to get nothing and just have all your money taken off you.
That too. You are going to get, you're going to end up with a picture of a dog.
I mean, I know exactly what you mean, because there's the other adverts that you keep seeing that are on YouTube that are clearly AI, where they're supposedly like people talk about medical things. Like, is it the one about drinking? There's the one that tells you to drink hot water. There's one that tells you not to drink hot water. But
I can't say I've seen that one.
It's what about drinking or not drinking hot water? And it's for health benefits. And you do look at it and you think some people would probably think this is a real advert with a real, with a human being. It's strange stuff.
Is the person drinking? I was going to say, is the person drinking directly from a kettle?
Well, no, you never see them doing anything. They're supposed to be doctors, supposed to be medical people telling you all this. Like, it's always to do with like Alzheimer's or something, like drinking hot water. Is it give you Alzheimer's, or it's one of the two? One advert is it'll stop you getting Alzheimer's and probably increase your sex drive, and the other one is that if you don't drink it, it'll give you Alzheimer's
and your cock will fall off
and decrease your sex drive. But it is you've got to watch these uncanny valley weird little adverts that are cropping up. But you're right, they're so annoying. They are so annoying.
Because again, it's that thing of, they could be like, especially with the apps, it's like, this could be a fun game that you want me to play, but I clearly know that you're probably mis-selling it with the use of AI.
Yeah.
Because I won't lie, I've had a fiddle with some of the AI programs that are out there, and some of them aren't bad, but a lot of them have the problem of like little details. The AI often forgets what it was trying to do. Like, again, with my example with the woman picking up the wine glass, it was probably told make the woman pick up the wine glass. But
Yeah.
you've got to remember, it's like a toddler. You've got to give it exact instructions. Otherwise, you can't get mad when it pours the wine over its head.
Well, they are. I mean, the other strange thing that's sort of everywhere at the moment is those weird things where you can turn yourself into a cartoon or turn another person into a cartoon.
Yes, the one that I got really upset at was the Studio Ghibli one.
I've not seen that.
It was a filter that what you could basically it was no different to like a Snapchat filter. You know, you submit an image, they run it through the filter using AI, and it would turn your picture into like a frame from a Studio Ghibli film.
Okay.
And it actually really upset a lot of people because, for those who aren't in the know, Studio Ghibli is a anime studio that is highly regarded not only in Japan but in the world for their very whimsical, very very wholesome films. You know, we're talking Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro. You know, those kind of films it's a very distinct art style, and it really, because I forget the animator's name, but the chief animator for the studio is still alive. I think it's Miyazaki. His name is Miyazaki. Like, he's still alive, and he was like, I worked for years to get this good, and now people are flooding the internet with these pictures.
Yeah, and yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, he was just like, it's so disappointing.
Well, it is. I mean, in general, I just noticed the deluge of them, but it's also annoying a lot. Obviously, it's annoying people with that, but it's annoying a lot of people because people are trying to be amusing with certain elements of it, where they make it kind of funny ones. But it obviously, as with anything, it'll cheese some people off, won't it? But it's just this damn. But it's a bit like the adverts on YouTube. As soon as you go on, you just get a deluge of them on like Facebook. And you're like, what? What is this?
Well, my favourite one is at the moment a couple of airsoft players, because obviously I enjoy my airsoft because I like a legal excuse to hurt people. Sorry, but
Can't comment on that. For my own safety.
Listen, it's that or BDSM.
Hey, as long as there's no shaming here, as long as it's consenting.
Hey, everyone's got a kink. But yeah, a lot of the lads who are in my airsoft Facebook groups have been putting up their pictures of, here's my airsoft action figure, and I just love pointing out all the cringy things. Like, it gives them call signs. And I'm like, you're a fat middle-aged man running around the woods on a weekend. You are not a Navy SEAL. You are not SEAL Team 6.
It's not Predator.
No. But they're like, oh, look at all the accessories my little figure got. And I'm just like, grow up.
I remember going, when we talk about people thinking it's like Predator, I remember going paintballing. And one of the guys I was doing the thing with was doing all like the hand signals and the eye stuff from Predator. And I'm like, dude, you're paintballing.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do, like, some of it is still useful in airsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, if you're moving, if you're close to players, hand signals help and things like that. But there are some who take it so seriously, and at the end of the day, I'm just like, it's a little 6mm ball bearing made out of compressed chalk. It's not a bullet. It doesn't, because again, one of the best ones is, oh, if it was real, I'd have hit you. Well, it's not, and you didn't. Shut up.
So it's like people who turn into the
take it super, super seriously.
And they turn into the guy from Hot Fuzz. Nick Frost character.
Yeah,
obsessed with guns.
Yeah. Is it true there's a place in a man's head where if you shoot it, it will blow up? But yeah, we do get that. We do get that on occasion where it's like people who take it super seriously. And I'm like, listen, because there are some, like, there's a specific band of airsoft replicas, which is gas blowback operated. So
yes, yeah, I've seen those.
It's most common in handguns, but you can also get them in rifles. Now, the problem is they limit your capacity to 30 rounds. And I often say, because I do a lot of repair work for players, a lot of people ask me, oh, is it worth getting into gas blowback? And I said, no, you're just doing it for show. I said, at the end of the day, if I want 30, if I'm limited to 30 rounds, I want them to hit every time. That's impossible in airsoft. No, it doesn't matter what kind of weapon you have. You're always, it's a little pellet. It will not go as far as you think. It will not go straight. It will never go straight. Usually you need at least 4 or 5 rounds just in the general direction of the target before one will hit.
It's not real warfare.
It's not real. It's like, I've handled real firearms from my time in the police. I know what real firearms are like. People need to understand the limitations of a toy. Well, because you can take it seriously.
It's a bit like people who think they can land a plane after flying on a Microsoft simulator.
Yes. And then wonder why it's upside down and on fire.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, people. It's not going to happen. I know you're having fun with it, but it's not going to happen.
It's like when I see people with these racing simulators, because that became really big during COVID.
Yeah.
Was people...
Be careful, because Andy's into racing.
I know.
Tread carefully.
Yeah, and if he's still listening, we miss you, Andy, and we'll hopefully hear from him again soon. But yeah, a lot of people who were like, they didn't have driving licenses, and they were like, oh, I could probably drive better than you can.
I don't know. I kind of feel having a license might be kind of integral to driving, but I could be wrong. I could be way off.
I mean, again, I've seen Andy's setup, and with Andy's, it's things like he's got force feedback, so his steering wheel actually resists like it would in real life. But again, no game is perfect.
True.
There's so many times, like as I say, I was saying before we started recording, I've been watching old F1 races on YouTube because I miss Murray Walker. He is brilliant. Best thing that ever happened to Formula One aside from the drivers. But you see the amount of weird things that just happen that a game could never simulate. It's just fab.
No, I can understand that. It is very good stuff. Very good. It's yeah. I mean, I kind of was in and out on F1, but I certainly enjoyed it when I watched bits of it.
I certainly enjoy the old races more than I do the new ones. Because again, I'm watching the old ones and I'm looking at like lap time differences, and it's a good 10-15 seconds. It's not the 0.3 of a second that it is now.
Yeah.
So it makes it feel like they're really fighting for their places, but time marches forward.
It does.
You of all of us should know that the most.
I certainly know that after I've been to the gym and wake up the next morning. I got up this morning and I'm like, why does my body hurt so much? Oh, yeah.
Because you hurt it doing silly things.
That's true. But I've got to keep exercising. So yeah,
that's true.
I do have moments where I think, do I really want to keep doing this? Really like exhausted. Yeah, you've just got to keep going. So.
Well, I do believe that is you and I out of Codswallop. So
I don't think I've got any more Codswallop. I'm just trying to think. Has anything else happened?
Nothing. Not that you can legally talk about.
Not that I can legally talk about. Not that I can legally remember.
In that case, then, would you like to end this episode with a weird story?
Well, I've got some slightly weird stories. I've found one that we were laughing at that I've just found online. I'm trying to think if there's any other weird stuff that I'm aware of that's happened around here that I can add. Apart from the fact there's maybe a bit of a Codswallop, that maybe I've just become more attuned to it, and it kind of goes into car corner and Codswallop, and it does work. What the hell is going on with road traffic accidents at the moment? They seem to be just increasing exponentially.
I was thinking the same thing myself. That's terrifying.
But is it not weird? I mean,
no,
it could be it could be that they're just, we're more attuned to it. But it's like every single day, and they're not even like small things. There was one yesterday that happened around here, and it happened at 1 o'clock, and they didn't get the road cleared until something like nearly 11 o'clock at night. Now, It's bad. It's bad stuff, helicopter, bad accident. Yeah. I'm not I'm not trying to minimize the problem, but it's like, what the hell is going on?
Well, the one that I found, what I found in relation to this is, I'm starting to see parts of cars at the side of the road, and I cannot, for the life of me, work out. Obviously, it's just been dragged there to clear the road, but I still can't work out how an accident could happen on the stretch of road that it's on, because 90% of the time it's a straight line.
Yeah, weird,
that's what's getting me at the moment. Is it's not a case of, say, for example, I have Switch Island near me, which is a single point where the M57 starts, and 4 A roads merge into each other. So basically, it's chaos incarnate on tarmac. It's multiple lanes, lots of filtering. Obviously, because it's the beginning of the motorway, there's a lot of heavy goods vehicles coming from Liverpool docks to the motorway to then carry on down the arteries. So usually there is a pretty serious crash at least once a week there. So that has become the norm. I've often driven through Switch Island, and there'll be a car on its roof, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, it becomes second nature. But now, this is what I'm in complete agreement. Now I'm seeing, you'll go past and you'll see railings completely buckled inwards, but you just can't you cannot understand how they got a vehicle in such an orientation that they could even do that. You're looking at it, and it's like, but that's a 90-degree impact angle, and it's a single wide traffic lane. How the bloody hell did they do that?
Well, I remember one of the more recent ones I dodgy kind of saw first. Well, not as it happened, but the aftermath was like vehicle fire, and it was just the skeleton of the car, basically. I mean, the entire thing had just gone.
Was it electric?
I don't think so. I think it was a Jag. I don't think it was an electric one. I think it was it could have been. Who knows? But it was definitely. I'm pretty sure, looking at what I could recognise of the shell, it was a Jag. But I must have been lucky enough just to have missed the real chaos of it. But you had the fire service there, a policeman moving, making sure traffic was flowing.
Oh, that actually reminds me. I once had to attend an address because of a vehicle fire. And I knocked on the door. The wife of the owner opened the door, and I explained why I was there and asked, "Is your husband home?" "No, he's at work." "Oh, well, that makes things rather interesting, because we found his car burnt out in a completely random location. Turns out he was driving to work, smelt something funny coming from his car, so pulled over, called one of his colleagues. His colleague gave him a lift, and while he was in work, his car burnt down."
Wow.
So
very lucky.
Yeah, so we were, because obviously as an officer, we were looking at it as a case of, okay, are we looking at car theft and they've just disposed of the car? Are we looking at potential arson? We need to confirm that the owner is actually alive, because we can't get hold of him. Because obviously we get the address, but we don't get a contact number from the DVLA and the logbook. So that's where they sent me round. Yeah. And the poor guy walks through the door, and my first words were, "Well, at least you're here."
I was going to say, at least he's alive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lucky in the sense that he didn't get hurt. It's unlucky in the sense that his car's dead, but
Yeah, when truly, genuinely, as soon as he saw me, he was like, "Can I help, officer?" And I just turned around and said, "Do you know where your car is right now?" And he's like, "I'm hoping it's where I left it." And I was like, "Well, it is, but might not be in the same condition."
Well, I hope his insurance is good to him and
yes,
paid out.
Yeah, because again, took a statement, I believe he got the full claim on it. But yeah, when it comes to burnout cars, it just reminded me of that funny story, because it was like, my mind's racing. It was like, it could be anything. I could be looking at this crime, that crime, that. Oh, it just burnt to the ground on its spontaneous combustion.
Well, yeah. Because the other thing that I've been, obviously we're talking about YouTube and stuff, is I watch a lot of stuff that's what do they call, like murder porn and crime stuff through YouTube.
Yes.
But as you said, the annoyance of the adverts every few seconds is something else. But yeah, and I love the car car people, people who do up cars and buy cars on YouTube as well. But just as you get into Matt Armstrong's video, get into something good, bump, advert comes up.
Exactly. Hence my artificial stupidity title.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we wrap it up with our stories then?
Yes. Shall I go with mine first?
Yes, guest always goes first.
I mean, this is truly bizarre. So,
this arrangement or this story?
A bit of both. No. So,
hurry up, they'll be closed.
A woman scorned her. You listen to this one. So, a woman who posted dead mice through her ex-partner's letterbox during a terrifying stalking campaign has been jailed for nearly 2 years. Now, I'm not diminishing stalking is terrible, but this woman, I mean, you're on a level of bonkersness by the fact that she's put the effort in to basically do this. So it's not, I mean, you can understand if it was my partner down the street. It's bad, but, this woman drove 4 hours, banging on the door in the early hours of the morning. And then, I mean, it's pretty bloody scary. She was clearly absolutely crackers, said she was barricading the door with wheelie bins and things like that. But yeah, it got really weird. And she basically put a dead mouse through a letterbox, a 4-hour drive, and then left dead mice scattered outside.
Tadpoles, I would like to state now, I may have had a mouse problem previously. I have no connection to this woman. I do not know anything about this. I certainly did not supply her with a steady corpse supply of mice.
I mean, she's, again, 4 hours driving, putting mice through the letterbox. Obviously,
that's dedication.
And leave them outside. Well, as the judge said to her, it stems from your inability to deal with the relationship breaking down. It was on and off. You cannot demand that any other human being should love or want you. But, I mean, there's also a pretty level of immaturity to this one. I mean, she was 22. So, I mean, you've got to step back and look at it. You're 22, and you've basically done this. You've ruined your entire life.
To be fair, the 22 is the new 12 when it comes to mentality with this generation.
And you're getting the weird people who are doing weird YouTube stuff.
I blame social media.
Yeah, the world is a very strange... No, but it's when you get people doing these strange, really strange videos where they're going there was one guy I was watching a video where he was a BMXer, and that's what he did to make his money. And he'd be cycling through shops, through a shop full of people.
Radical.
Yeah, very radical. Until the fact that Toys R Us, and I think he was on an electric scooter thing or something in there. And this is before Toys R Us shut. Now,
I was about to say, is he a time traveller as well?
It made me laugh, though, simply because of this. So you're going in, you're messing around. We've gone to a sidebar, I know, Tadpoles, but it is an interesting thing. So he goes around doing all this. Yeah, he does all this. Now, you've got to think about this. They're losing their jobs. They don't give a damn at this point. So he basically, they battered him. The staff just attacked him.
Yeah, I have to admit, there is something satisfying when, you see these, Twitch streamers, being nuisances in real life, and then karma swings in beautifully, and it's caught on camera. It's brilliant.
So there was that weird epidemic of people going along, and they were slapping people and filming it.
Yeah, happy slapping.
And they made the mistake, and it might have been in Liverpool, of doing it to the wrong guy who just went. They slapped him, and he looked like shot, went up and just knocked them out.
As you should. As you should.
Yes. And he just shook his head in confusion. The guy who knocked him out, what?
Yeah, and the prankster, in inverted commas, is lying cold on the floor.
Yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah. Well, from dead mice to death by chocolate.
Ooh.
Chocolate murder attempt case closed by police. Police have closed their investigation into a fitness instructor who was suspected of attempting to murder his boss with chocolate.
I've heard of this one. Go on.
Yeah. This isn't death by chocolate by drowning or something like this. This is genuinely with a single chocolate bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Jodie Bunting was arrested November 2023 after his manager at the health club they worked at had a severe reaction from inhaling cocoa.
Mm-hmm. Mr.
Bunting said he felt relieved no further action was being taken against him after the widely publicized case was investigated for more than a year. However, the victim is taking him and their former employer to tribunal, claiming that her allergy amounted to a disability and that they discriminated against her. So we're even going to get an awesome sequel. Basically, I have a disability. You can't fire me because I nearly died because someone ate a chocolate bar. I cannot wait for the legal precedent behind that one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm amazed this is still rumbling on.
Well, as I say, the criminal side of it has now completely finished. So now this has become a civil case over the dismissal. But basically, the whole account, the whole case fell apart because the account of whose chocolate caused the reaction were conflicting. Therefore, there was no solid evidence as to whether it was maliciously placed near the victim to induce a allergic reaction, or whether it was genuinely a misplaced piece of food and a horrific accident.
Yeah. And didn't one of the people flee to another country or something?
No, the man who was charged was on holiday in Morocco.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
When it happened, because this was his account. So he said her allergic reaction was several days later after he had taken a chocolate bar into the hotel while the victim was off sick. So she wasn't even in the building. He knew she was off sick, so he took in a chocolate bar. Apparently, the hotel also had a deep clean in the in-between time from when she came back off sick and he went to Morocco. But that's everyone started thinking this makes him look guilty. She has this reaction. She almost dies. He suddenly jets off to Morocco.
The whole thing's very peculiar.
And again, apparently the the prosecution were trying to state that he'd been plotting with other colleagues to place chocolate around her office, and suggests that there is CCTV footage of them leaving chocolate around the area. So the accused did end up moving to Morocco permanently.
It's an interesting topic. I wonder if things were said in a whisper.
Again, I imagine there is a lot of backstage gossip that has gone around, but I genuinely think it seems as if there was it was a genuine mistake. She was off sick. He brought in chocolate. He left some behind for his next shift. They didn't, but they forgot about it. Because again, according to this, he left there was a group chat. Mm-hmm. So I think he's gone in the group chat, told everyone he'd left some chocolate. They've forgotten when they've gone in, so it's just sat there. And I genuinely think this was a mistake. But what a title! Death by Chocolate.
Do you think there's any
chocolate?
Do you think there's any black magic involved?
Oh, unfortunately not. It was fruit and nuts.
I was going to say you missed all my other ones. Topic, whisper. Come on.
See, this is why you're a guest now.
I was thinking, how do we break away from this?
Stop it.
That took me a moment. I was thinking, there's a chocolate called Breakaway. Oh, there wasn't there? I'm sure.
Well, now your marathon of jokes has run out. See, I even went for an old chocolate bar so that you'd remember.
Yeah. Well, what we'll have to do is we'll have to, to come off this area of conversation, maybe we should do some stargazing, look at Mars.
Or the Milky Way.
Oh, dear.
Well, I think we've been talking more than enough, Codswallop.
We've gone puntastic.
We have. And we have strayed far off topic.
Yeah.
So
yet again.
Yep. So I think best way to end this is I have been James Jr.
I have been, I guess, James Sr.
Yes, you have. And we will see all you lovely tadpoles in the next one.
Bye. Bye-bye.
This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.